5 true scary stories. I'm not your dad. A girl I used to know told me a story that her ex-husband used to wake up in the middle of the night because someone was tickling his feet. She told him her dad used to tickle her feet and her sister's feet as well, and would wake them up for school in the morning. So when weird things started happening around the house, they would just say, "Knock it off, Dad," and it would stop. Well, one day something in the kitchen, I don't remember what, and she said, "Knock it off, Dad." And as she was walking through the door, something growled in her ear, "I'm not your dad." They moved out a few weeks later. Imaginary girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend moved into the apartment across the street from me and told me her little brother had a new imaginary girlfriend named Alex. Well, I had been living there in the neighborhood for about 5 years, and 3 years prior to her moving in, my neighbor Alex hung herself in that house. Spiders. My friend's father was a missionary in Africa. He was 16 and learned how to shave his face. 3 weeks went by and he woke up one morning with his throat extremely swollen. They flew him to the nearest hospital where the trauma surgeon took a scalpel, nicked my friend's throat, and out spewed hundreds of tiny spiders. Killer doll. My pappy grandfather found a life-size doll hanging by a rope around its neck in a wooded area on his way home one day. He said it looked like somebody hanging it up there and was using it for shooting practice or something. My mom was still a child, so the jokester he is brought it home for her and my aunt. Well, they actually liked the thing and cleaned it up and played with it. My grandmother says till this day the scariest thing started to happen around the house. One example being, it was nighttime and her and my pappy were in bed sleeping. Well, she said she woke up to the blanket making her feel strangled. It was almost like someone crawled onto their bed and laid in between them. She sat up, startled, and that's when their bed started to shake. The dresser shaking as well. But nothing on the dresser moved or fell. It got to the point to where she was so freaked out and fed up with the spooky thing going on in the house, she made my pappy get rid of it. So he was good friends with the owner of a bar, who was more than happy to take it off his hands, as he thought it would be a good conversational piece. Exactly 1 week later, the man who the doll was given died. Mind you, he had perfect health. Final wishes. On an episode of Beyond Belief like 7 years ago, I saw a true story about a stepdaughter who died. She hated her stepmother, and in death, they were both put in the same mausoleum. Every morning the stone sarcophagus were cracked, and there was writing on the wall in blood, begging for her to be away from the stepmother. Even though the mausoleum was sealed every night, still gives me chills to think about. Alright, freaks, this has been me reading 5 scary stories. If you liked them, leave a like, comment down below for a comment back as usual, and subscribe. Please share this video with your friends and see if they like it. And, as always, I suppose those of you who are actually interested in what I do and what I make, I suppose I'll see you in the next video. Good night.